Micheline Makes. If you didn't know, I talk to you about sewing, about all sorts of things. I involve you as often as I can, and I like to tell you about things that I've come across. So this one, you'll have seen by the title, it said probably something like the best pair of scissors you could ever want to own. And I'm going to tell you a little story first before I tell you about these scissors. Those of you who've watched my vlogs right from the start will know that I am actually the daughter of a watchmaker, and also he also sold trophies. And I went into teaching, but I eventually came out of teaching and started set up an online website selling trophies. So I've been involved in the trophy industry and the watchmaking industry for a lot of years through him. And I remember when he used to repair very good quality watches, and then they brought out the digital ones. And my father, being French, was used to repairing good watches, and when he saw the plastic ones that were coming out, he looked at it and he just opened them up and he said, they're rubbish. They're rubbish, he says. The cogs are plastic, everything's plastic. And he said, they're not as good as the actual real mechanical watches. And then he started selling trophies. And one of the particular aspects of trophies was silver cups. And the silver cups in those days were made by a firm in Birmingham. And there was also a company in Sheffield that made tankards, and they were good quality ones. The cups from Birmingham were from two different companies. There were brass, a silver plated coating on them, and they were quality. They guaranteed them something like 30-40 years, and we sold them. I remember my father selling them when I was 11 and I'm now 70, and over the years when I took over the trophy business, I got those cups coming back, and the silver plating was always still on them. It didn't wear off, and it was good quality. You knew you'd got something that was well worth it. Then that same company, along with a lot of other companies, because some companies decided that it was cheaper to get stuff made in China, that same company started buying in their cups from India and from China, and the cups were nickel plated base with a silver plating on the outside. But the silver plating was much thinner and it rubbed off much easily, so if it tarnished and you polished it, eventually after 2 or 3 years the silver plating came off. And the quality of the cup, whereas before it was a brass base with silver plating on top, it engraved beautifully. Now it was a nickel plate, and nickel plate was really hard, so when you tried to engrave it, it was rubbish. So the reason why I'm telling you this is that when I was at the knitting and stitching show, I think it was my first time that I went to the knitting and stitching show, I was going around, and obviously I hadn't realised how big it was going to be, and I walked past this stand that was selling scissors, and my jaw just dropped, because they were the most beautifully, perfectly crafted scissors I've seen in a long time. They weren't plastic handled, they were really good quality scissors, and I loved them so much. But when I saw the price, I thought, oh wow, they are quite expensive. Then I went away. Then the lockdown happened. And the more I thought about those scissors, the more I thought, you know, they were good scissors. They were just like those cups. People who bought a good silver plated cup years ago still had a good perfect silver plated cup now. Those that bought a one now and paid probably the same amount of money weren't getting as good a quality. As you know, I also made jewellery. I did some silversmithing. I could see these scissors were absolutely beautiful. So during lockdown, I thought I'm going to look for those scissors and see what they're like. And I knew they weren't cheap, but I knew they were good quality. And I came across their website. They had a few videos at the bottom that explained about their craft and about their scissors. Basically, the history of it was, they're called Ernest Wright. The actual company belonged to the Ernest Wright family. And then it went into, I'm not sure if it went into receivership, but the business was starting to close. And a young gentleman and a few others decided to take it over and carry on with it. and they wanted to carry on with the skill. And it's a skill that really, you know, it's not something that you can quickly pick up to make scissors, because you've got to get the perfection of the blades going like that. They've got to be really perfect. And I wrote to them, I decided I'd write to them, and I said, look, you have beautiful pairs of scissors and I'd like to tell everybody about your scissors. And the gentleman said, well, if you want, I'll send you some scissors and you can have them for nothing. And so I then wrote back and said, no, I don't want them for nothing, because if I get them for nothing, you're not going to believe me that these are damn fine scissors. I wanted to pay for them, and again, as I say, they weren't cheap. The pair I got were £90, but they are absolutely beautiful. Let me show you a video first about how they are made.
It seems awesome to be actual survivee of a trade that we thought was dying, but it wasn't. I'm just a normal guy. I was born in Sheffield, which was the East End, not far from here. When did I start for WRIGHT? That'd be 1968. Mr. Wright, there was the old guy, and then Philip Wright, and then Nicky came along and took over. But unfortunately, that didn't work out for him. But the situation has changed. Paul saved it. I spoke to him in detail and asked him why he'd spent all this money, which is a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of pounds, putting all this machinery right. And he said to me, I've had a passion to do something like this in life. Now, this team are making scissors to the scissors I like, which is striving for perfection. The reason I'm working over from I should be retired is because I like the challenge. I like the challenge. Because there isn't a challenge here that I can't take on and beat. I'm 75, and life is a challenge at 75. And I said, when you open a pair of scissors and close it, it tells me a story, what's up with it. And it's time to learn how it feels. Beautiful. Poetry in motion. It's a great satisfaction to have done it properly. Because that's what life's all about. You try your best.
They are quality scissors. And I did pay for them because I didn't want him to give me them for nothing. A, because they've had to reinvent themselves, they've had to restart, and I felt that especially with COVID, a lot of businesses are suffering, and I wanted to push their business. They're not in the same town as me. They're from Sheffield, and Sheffield is the place where, in years gone by, all our knives and forks were made. Also in Birmingham, silver plate was made in Sheffield and Birmingham and London mainly, and Glasgow and Edinburgh, I think. But Sheffield is well known for its metalworking. And so I decided, I told them I wanted to pay for them. I have paid for them. These are me having paid full price, I hope. At least I told them I wanted to pay full price. They cost me £90. The only downside, but I don't think it's a downside. The only downside is you can't get them off the shelf. They are made to order, and because it's a skill of hand making, they take a bit longer than they would normally, so you might have to wait 8 to 10 weeks to get them. So it's well worth it if you want to have some quality scissors. Remember, those of you who have Bernina machines, if you've got the Bernina machine because you know it's a quality machine, these are quality scissors. So this is the box that I got them in. I'll not let you see the other side, it's got my address on, but in here are the scissors, and they came like this in a little box that says, Ernest Wright, every pair a jewel. Handmade scissors and shears since 1902, Sheffield, England. And on the back it says, And as at Ernest Wright, we are dedicated to producing supreme quality handmade scissors and shears. With proper use and little care, they love you back for a lifetime. And another reason, what also made me think about those scissors was when we were clearing out, as you know, I've retired now, and we have been clearing out workplaces, and I came across this pair of scissors. And they're not Ernest Wright ones, they are Union ones, which I think were reasonably good in the day. And I don't know if you can see them, they're black ones, they've lost all their paint. They still cut quite well. They're not really fabric scissors, they were paper and everything else scissors that we used to have hanging up in my father's workshop. And I remember those from being a young girl, so they are at least 60 years old. And they still work well, and it was partly seeing those that made me suddenly think, those were good scissors that I saw at the knitting and stitching show. I really think we should let everybody know about them, those that don't. Now, Ernest Wright actually sells abroad as well, so if you're interested in buying and you live abroad, because I know a lot of my viewers are also from America and other parts of the world, Australia and New Zealand and South Africa and elsewhere. If you're in other parts of the world and you want to buy a decent pair of British made scissors where they've actually been personally manufactured, not necessarily personally, but there's been a lot of love put into them, then then Ernest Wright is well worth going for. Let me show you what's in it. This little box opens up. It doesn't open up, it's got a little pull thing, and I pull that out. And inside are the scissors. I'll put that down there. Inside are the scissors, and we'll start with the little leaflets. It's got a couple of little leaflets first. One is in anything that's made in Sheffield. We used to buy tankards from Sheffield, and Sheffield is so proud of what they make, what their factories make, that they supply a little certificate, and the certificate says Sheffield made certificate, City of Sheffield, and it's got a seal on the inside. There's the seal, and the seal is actually signed by the Lord Mayor, City of Sheffield, and it says here, the Sheffield City Council, desirous of preserving Sheffield's reputation for craftsmanship and high quality, wishes to accord its tribute to manufacturers and goods which are recognised for these qualities. Therefore, acting upon the advice of the Cutlery and Silverware Association, the City Council is pleased to approve the coat of arms of the City of Sheffield in association with the specified products manufactured solely in Sheffield by Ernest Wright. In this case, it's by Ernest Wright. Other ones I also used to buy from English Pewter, so for them it would be by English Pewter. And the second one is actually from Ernest Wright himself, which says Ernest Wright, handmade scissors and shears. And on the inside, he's put with best wishes. I would imagine that's Paul, because Paul is the gentleman who I was liaising with. And he's got the address, the email address and their website. And it says, a bit on the back says, each pair of Ernest Wright reflects over a century of knowledge, passion and character, seamlessly blending supreme quality into everyday use. Bought once, they love you for a lifetime. And these are the scissors. They come in a little box, set inside. Really nice heavy ones. Nice heavy ones. Dressmaking ones, so that they go straight along there for cutting when you're cutting the fabric out. And on one side it says made in Sheffield, England. I don't know if you can see that. Made in Sheffield, England. And on the other side it says Ernest Wright, and in tiny little letters underneath it, established 1902. So these are beautiful scissors, and what I'll do is I'll show you just how beautiful they are. They've got to be, I don't know if you can see, when they were filming, you've got to have the blades crossing just perfectly. And these do. They're absolutely beautiful. Beautiful shine to them. Beautiful quality, weighty, nice and weighty. And what I like about them is I find that some scissors that I have, they catch my thumb there and it hurts my thumb. These, when you put your thumb in, it's nicely shaped so that it holds your thumb nicely and doesn't hurt it. They are quite possibly the best pair of scissors you could ever own, but also they are definitely the best pair of scissors that I've ever owned. And I will be so proud to have them and hopefully pass them on to one of my granddaughters when she carries on sewing. So those Ernest Wright scissors, highly recommended. If you order them, the link, I'll put the link below for you to order them. They will, as I say, they do take a while because they're all prepared. You know, there's a small workforce and they strive for quality. They don't just strive to turn them out by the pound load like in China or whatever. They're turning them out fast. They strive for quality, and when you get quality, like you do with your Benina, if you want a good machine and a good pair of scissors, go for the best. And this, in my opinion, is the best. Do go and have a look at their website because they have got some vlogs underneath. They've got some videos at the bottom of the website that are really worth looking at, apart from the one that I've just shown you. They've put a few other little videos up that are really good to watch. So I can definitely agree with this, that Ernest Wright scissors are definitely striving for perfection.